Hello, and welcome to Unconventional GMs, the series where we play games, show you how to run games with pace, vigor, and vim. And today we're in the world of fantasy. We're in the world of Glorantha, Greg Stafford's Glorantha, playing 13th Age in Glorantha. 13th Age is a D&D derived narrative game of fantasy. Glorantha is a fantastic world of myth, basket weaving, tribes, and lots of cows, but there'll be no cows here today. This is all about high fantasy action, and we've got an amazing crew of players here to find the beard of Lhankor. They're all playing members of the Silverwind tribe, hairy or lanthy barbarians that live in Dragon Pass and try and defend their world from the Lunars, the evil lunar empire that lurk around, and chaos, which lurks behind every corner. With strange beasts, and they have to patrol their lands and hope that they don't get drawn in with that. So without further ado, I will ask them to introduce themselves, starting with my co-conspirator on Unconventional GMs, Gaz.
Oh, yes, I'm Gaz. Apart from conspiring on Unconventional GMs, I'm also a co-host of What Would the Smart Party Do, the UK's premier RPG podcast. Today, I'll be playing Herrick's, or will I? Because I also have an animal companion called Jest, and played 13th Age before, and what sometimes happens is the companion does a lot better than the hero, and you end up that's your main character, really. So we don't know. It's either Herrick's or Jest, but we'll start out with Herrick's, who's a Hjortling warrior, a worshiper of Yinkin, which is like a cat god type derived thing. So he's got a strong bond with this Alex, kind of a jaguar, big cat type creature, and you can speak to it and be understood. And he has bows and spears as the weapons of his god. So he's quick to fight and good at ranged and up close too when his animal's not doing it for him.
Lovely, lovely. Sounds good. Good to meet Herrick's and/or Jest, depending on which is more successful. I think that's the thing with all D&D derived games. The animal companions end up being far more effective than the other players. Let's see if that happens today. Dirk, let's go to you next. Who are you playing, and who are you as well? That's the other thing.
Hi, I'm Dirk the Dice from the Grognard Files podcast, and today I'm playing Jorster. Jorster is the scout, a Lhankor scholar, and somebody who is full of song for every occasion and stories for every occasion. Now, there are no cows involved in this story, but his past history, he was hit in the face by a cow, and as the sacred cow of the Silverwind tribe, and as a consequence, he's unable to grow a beard due to the facial injuries he sustained. Now, as a Lhankor worshipper, I need to have a beard, so I've got one fashioned out of goat skin that I wear. It's a decorative thing, and I sing through that. And it also meant that there's one thing about me is I can't remember my past as a child on the tribe, but I can remember my many pasts because I've lived before. I've gone on hero quest before, so I'm an unusual character, but there will be singing involved. I'm warning you now.
Thank you for that content warning, and we all look forward to that. Yeah, just that we won't be editing that out. That'll happen as there. So watch out for this. Watch out for that clip later on. And finally, Ben, who are you and who are you?
Tonight I shall be playing Grilf, also a devotee of Orlanth. I'm a wind lord of the wind. And unlike the others, I'm actually by birth lunar, but I was rescued from a lunar orphanage by the Silverwind tribe, and have been raised as a barbarian, and I've taken to it somewhat. I'm an absolute bear of a man, the hairiest thing you've ever seen, covered in tattoos, like wearing a kilt. I'm into curses, mountain hiking, and kite flying.
I was going to say you are your character, Ben, but either works. It's fine. We'll go with your character. It could apply either way.
And tonight I'll be playing a podcaster of some repute. Crikey. Yeah, hello, I'm Ben. I'll be playing the character I just mentioned. This isn't going to survive an edit, no way. And I co-host What Would the Smart Party Do with my good friend Gaz, and I'm an avid listener of Dirk's podcast, which is the Grognard Files, and play games with Guy all the time.
Lovely. Well, now we've met everyone, let's get into the game. Before we do that, actually, the first thing we need to do, in 13th Age Glorantha, everybody has runes that you have an affinity with. And you have some personal runes, or you can sometimes be linked to any rune there. And a rune in 13th Age Glorantha is a one-shot thing that you can trigger to have a massive sort of game-breaking effect. It's not normally something you'd use that would interact with the rules, but you might, for instance, use an air rune to make the bison you're riding on be able to fly up and attack people, as an example of a standard sort of rune use. And there will be an opportunity to use them later in the game. So the way in which you work these out is a little bit fiddly. On your character sheet, you've got 3 runes. What you do, and we'll be using the dice roll up there, if you want to roll a d6, if you get 1, 2, or 3, you get that number of the rune on your character sheet. If you get 4, 5, or 6, you need to roll a d20 separately, because you go to the big table of all the runes. And we'll work out what they are if you have managed to get your own runes or not. So, Herix, you've not got a personal rune. You're on 17, which is Spirit. So, Gaz, you've got the Spirit rune activated, and that's the power that you can use in this game. Oh, we have a technical hitch, don't we? Let's see. Ben, have you rolled your rune?
Yes, and I have the air rune, number 1.
Fantastic. So, Spirit and air. I suggest we'll have a little, this is very early, let's just take a quick moment while we wait for Dirk to return. So we'll be back with you in just a moment. And Dirk is back. Dirk, what did you roll for your rune then?
What do I need to roll?
Sorry, you need to roll a d6. Just roll a d6. In a dice roll, you might have put your name in as well if you're not Dallas Dice Roller, which is whoever that was. Ben. Excellent. So if you've got 4, you then need to roll a d20 and let me know what it is. And I'll tell you what your rune is.
Here it goes.
Ooh, I'm going to tell you what, roll it again, because I don't want you to have Spirit rune, because that's the same as Gaz got. You've got movement. Okay, maybe that'll fit with your singing nicely. So that's a rune that you can trigger later in the game.
Singing and dancing.
Singing and dancing. Can you imagine? Yeah. Cool. So let's start the game. You are the heroes, the Silverwind tribe. The Silverwind tribe, a notable tribe in history with a long and storied past. What it's good at, the tribe, is brokering peace with fellow tribespeople, making sure that the clan wars don't go on too long, and interceding to make sure that any bad blood between other more violent tribes might get calmed down. As you might imagine, though, in these terrible times of chaos ravaging the countryside, it's not that popular just being a peacemaker. It's not that useful. And so it's fair to say the Silverwind stock has fallen. And you are the last remains of the heroes that went around them. You still go about your clan duty. You're still proud members of it. But the Silverwind clan isn't spoken of in the great tones as it was in the past. And you're maybe looking for a chance to regain some of that past glory. And perhaps this morning you will get that chance. But the 3 of you, the 4 of you, let's not forget Jest as well, are doing your regular patrol around the clan lands. And you've come to the north end of your clan lands, which passes perilously close to Snake Pipe Hollow, a chaos land. It's not unusual for the occasional chaos beast to wander out and have to be dealt with. So this is the most dangerous part of your patrol. You're in the thick forests, and we're just getting to the early afternoon. The thick forest seems darker and quieter than usual. The canopy of trees blocks out most of the light from there. And there was a light rain falling when you set off, when you first went into the woods, but now none penetrates through the leaves above you. And as you sort of sniff, Jess sniffs the air, and the rest of you look around, you notice the forest seems unusually quiet. What you would expect, the buzz of insects and the twitter of birds, has faded. And as you glance around the small clearing you find yourself in, you notice a single white feather dripping down from above you. And as one, the 3 of you gaze up, you see lying on a branch a duck, a humanoid sentient duck. Just to be clear, this is Glorantha. There are talking ducks. Who's lying, his white feathers there. He's wearing makeshift armor along this thick branch. And as you glance up and he catches your eye, he holds a finger to his bill and just goes, "Shh, I'm hiding from them." And just as he says that, in a quite loud stage whisper, you hear the toot toot of a hunting horn that you recognize as being that of a beastmen warband. And a tribe of Broo must be nearby. And as you turn around, racing through the forest around you, there come, in pursuit of this duck, a gaggle of goat-headed beastmen. I would like to roll initiative.
Yes, let's have a large meowing sound. I look down and say, what's that, Jest? Broo coming through the undergrowth? As I pointedly ignore the obvious signs and rely on my cat to tell me.
It's a good job Jest is there, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, yeah. Otherwise I'd have missed them entirely.
So initiative is D20 plus your initiative bonus. So if you want to tell me what you got, that would be fantastic. I'll stick you in the pile.
16 for Helix / Jest.
17 for the fast barbarian.
18.
Oh, you thought you were
the
fast.
scout.
Okay, so 13th age has an escalation dice mechanic, remember, where that goes up 1 each round and gives you a bonus to all your attacks. It starts at 0, though, unfortunately, sad times. So you're not going to have the benefit of that in the first round of combat. I'll just make sure you know what's happening here. The host of Broo that are attacking you consists of 7 beast-headed chaos creatures. There are 5 goat-headed Broo warband that are mooks. You can target them as one thing, and you might kill more than one of them once. There is a leader who's a stag-headed Broo, full sort of 8 feet tall, with another like 2 feet of antlers that's charging through the forest, miraculously not getting them caught on any of the branches. And his lieutenant is a short, stocky, almost spherical, cow-headed Broo that moves to the sky as he races slowly towards you. And as this happens, Josto, you are the first to react. What are you doing?
So I start to sing a song in reverse and move my body around the rest of the team in order to befuddle this creature that leads them, this stag-headed beast.
Lovely. Lovely. Is that
So
is that a power that you have with some mechanics attached to it?
It is, yes.
Lovely. That's good.
It's a ranged spell, so it's a charisma plus level.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Is my attack
So
versus MD.
his MD is only 10. This stag Broo.
Okay, and my charisma is 19.
Oh wow! So the stag Broo is indeed confused by that, which means he's going to be attacking a random person next round. What does this look like as this song takes effect? What do we see this stag Broo doing?
Well, it just gets it hears my tuneful voice in reverse and this movement around, and you can see that it's got a baffled look, and it's sniffing the air and walking backwards.
Ah, fantastic! I like. Already we've started with the songs. Yeah, sorry, just double check what confused us. I've got that. Right, the next to react, the stag Broo is already confused. Grilf, you're the next to spring into action.
Okay, Broo, many of them all around us. Stay away from them, they're pestilential beasts. And I shall pluck a javelin from the hopper that I carry over one shoulder, and I shall fling it.
Oh, we've got a moment of tension.
Paralysis.
Go on, roll the dice. It's just a slow motion as the javelin flies.
Kind of got into bullet time, right? With everything.
Yeah.
He's confused, but he's not that confused.
It's confused. Your spell has affected more than just a stag Broo. Let's while we wait for that to take effect, let's go with the Stag Broo, who is he makes a normal attack against a nearby ally. So let me just see which it is. 1 to 3, it'll be his lieutenant. It is indeed. And he is going to be, So he turns and attacks his lieutenant, but swings wildly and misses from there.
Do I jump in, or do you want to pause there?
Yes. Why don't you jump in? Because it would be you next. Let's have you take effect now. We'll go back in time to the
javelin that's still going.
Javelin
in a Guy Ritchie style, then there's like the slowdown of that, but it comes to me and it speeds up really fast. So Jest leaps athletically with great deftness through the air and tries to savage some of these Broo that are ahead and keep them away from me, apart from anything else.
Excellent. We'll come back to you then. You're fine.
Yeah.
Your javelin is still hanging in midair. So Herrick's was attacking the goat-headed Broo, the warband, yeah?
Yep, I get a 17.
17 is just enough to hit them. How much do your damage?
Hey, so I was trying my double attack thing, which I've got, but I need to roll natural even to get the second attack. So there's just this one that'll count.
Jest doesn't get that, I don't think.
Sorry. Yeah,
you get that.
Rolling Jest, aren't I?
Yeah,
my bad. It's the befuddlement, that confusion spell that was.
I know it's befuddled our viewers as well. Looking at which way around people's faces are, but we'll fix that in a minute when the spell wears off.
9 damage from Jest.
Okay, one of the Broo is not looking very well. There are 5 of them, and one of them is on his last legs, really, his last cloven hooved legs.
And then I'm going to shoot my double arrows now while I'm still hot, if you will. So I'll get way above what I rolled last time, so it's definitely going to be a hit.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a total of 13 damage from my arrows. 13
damage. We'll take 2 of them out. Somehow, one of them goes through a pair of Broo to take them out. And I think, do you get another attack? It needs to be even, doesn't it?
It needs to be natural even, yeah.
Okay, so there are now just 3 of those warband there. Just as we're working out the just fixing the befuddlement of our viewers quickly.
On my screen, so that's
Ben, right. we left your javelin hanging in the air.
Yeah.
So do you want to roll your attack now? Who are you attacking with, by the way? It went out just before you declared your target.
Oh, really? It was the little cow lieutenant, the spherical moo cow.
Cow lieutenant.
Absolutely. However, I think the cow lieutenant is probably going to be fine because I've rolled a magnificent 11 to hit.
That is not enough. No, I believe you might do miss damage on that though. Still,
I do. So it probably hits the tree above his head, and some pine cones fall out and deal him 2 damage.
Yeah, they do. That's exactly what happens. And some bounce off his cowhide head, just enough to draw his attention as he comes charging towards you. Pulls out 2 wicked knives from under his weird Broo udder thing, and starts stabbing you with them.
Better not miss.
Well, so this will be a 20 against your armor class.
My heavy armor and shield is not enough to fend off the bovine attack.
Okay, you take 6 damage from these knives as they scratch through your heavy armor.
Oh, stop giving them tips. I shout.
And straight behind him, the remaining 3 warband charge amongst you. And there are 3 of you, so they're going to attack 1 of you each. So let's just go around and do it. So let's see. That's a 20 for you, Ben.
Again?
A 25 for Dirk, and a 14 for Gaz.
I lightly jump over mossy logs and stay out of the way.
That's fantastic. The other 2 of you, you're going to be taking 4 damage from their rusty, gore-encrusted spears as they stab into you. And that's the end of the round. So what happens this round, as the second round, is the escalation dice comes to the table. So you get, it's at 1 now, and it goes at 1 each round. So you're going to get a bonus of +1 to all of your attacks. You don't get it to damage, but on all the times that you roll a d20 to attack, you're going to get +1. That's the good news. There's 2 bits of bad news. The first one is that the Stag Broo's confusion only lasted a round. So he's not confused anymore. The second bit is that when you fight chaos, sometimes they get the escalation dice. So, Josto, because you're first in the initiative, I'm going to get you to roll this. You just roll me a d20, and on 1 to 5, chaos is going to steal the escalation dice, I'm afraid.
No.
Fantastic. I mean, you've used up that 20, that would have been a crit.
Yes.
But you've definitely still got that +1. So include that in your calculations. You've still got the leader, who seems a bit more clear-eyed now, as he's been charging around trying to attack his brethren. You've still got the knife-wielding cow sergeant, and you've still got 3 of the Broo host around. Josto, you're up first.
I'm already composing some lyric of this. I'm trying to work out things that rhyme with duck, but whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to brace myself and run at the stag leader with my spear.
Fantastic.
Oh, and my attack is +5, so that's a 19.
That is indeed a 19. That is going to be a hit. So do you want to roll your damage for him?
Yeah, sure. And it's a +2 to this. So that's 12 damage.
12. Fantastic. Yeah, your spear, is it? Did you say?
His spear, yeah.
Connects well into his hide. And you see there's like a bead of blood where you've cut through him. And he turns his big antlered head towards you. You've certainly got his attention there. Okay, that's just Grilf. You're up next.
I'm going to vertically leap as high as I can, catching my javelin that's stuck in the tree, and then using that in the manner of a gymnast I once saw at the circus as a boy. I'm going to plant both boots into the face of this cow.
Fantastic. Roll your attack. Armor class 16 is what you need to hit.
Really? Okay, with escalation as well. It should be no trouble. 12.
Say that though. So 2 miss damage. Is that the...
Once again, I rain pine cones upon the poor cow.
Eventually, enough pine cones for one of his head is going to take him out. But he looks not that bothered by it now, just marginally enraged.
I style it out. I'm going to carry on swinging around this javelin. It's not a failure.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. The stag brew leader, as he turns his face towards you, Justo, whips out from behind him a spiked club and tries to hit you with it. With a 22, which I imagine is going to hit you.
That is going to hit me.
10 damage as he batters you against a tree.
This is not how the song is meant to go.
It's not. It's a remix, 12-inch remix of this. Lovely. Herrix, or Jest, rather.
Yeah, Jest has to go first, I think. So Jest is going to continue devouring the goat curry buffet that's running around it. So let's see how my cat can do. Yeah, rolling 25 in total.
Is that a crit? Does he?
Yeah, it's got an expanded crit range. So is it double damage?
Yeah, roll your total damage and then double it.
Okay. So it's going to be 14 damage, please.
14 damage. That's so. Just running around takes out 2 more of these warband.
Just savaging them. Yeah, bites the throat of one and uses its rear claws to rake at another. And there's just bleating everywhere as blood splatters around.
There is the one remaining is sort of backing away, but like looks around and looks a little bit confused, but then sees that his cow sergeant is still just got pine cones on his head, and so decides to maybe stay rather than run at that point. And Herrix, you get to go now as well.
Yeah, so I feel I need to inspire the Lhankor, my sage, who's not getting his rhymes going. So I will point and say, "The bovine is mine, I do opine. He's not thine," and then I shall shoot him with my arrows to try and boost his vocabulary, maybe. I get an 18, if that's any good.
18 hits, yeah.
Well, 90 with the escalation dice, actually, but it's a natural even, so I'll get to roll again after this.
So, yeah.
So 11 damage.
Yeah,
and
he's
then
still there.
Quickly slot another arrow for
hits as well, yeah.
even more than last time. So that's going to be 12 damage.
Okay, the cow brew is staggered. So as your arrows rain into him, you see him sort of fall backwards. Like these arrows are still sticking out of him. They've gone quite deep, and he's sort of thrashing about, enraged, blood dripping down him, as if you have actually done quite a bit of damage to him. from there. Okay, the cow Broo now. It's still fighting you, Wilf. So he's going to have a go. And 13, I think. Is that going to hit you?
Can't reach me down there.
You can't, as his knives like scrabble against you, but you do notice a side hoof goes into you because he does miss damage of 2 as he still kicks you. 1 cloven hoof goes through. And finally this round, the Broo warband, the one remaining goat-headed Broo, is going to go for Jest, actually. Because it's about time Jest took some punishment. Possibly, yeah, 24, that's probably going to hit. So Jest takes 4 damage.
Possibly. 20. Yes. Yes, does.
Possibly. Okay, so at the end of the round, you've got just one of these warband who's gingerly like fighting the Haylings. You've got a quite badly injured cow Broo, and Jostor and the stag are still sort of facing off. The escalation dice at +2. Dirk, do you want to roll me a d20 to see if Chaos get it or you get it this round? 1 to 5 is what you want to avoid.
Yes.
Fantastic. Another high roll used up, though. Nice to see it. So you're going to get +2 on all of your actions this round. And Joster, you're at first.
So I'm feeling quite damaged, and when I can hear the mocking tones of my allies behind me, but I'm going to find a second wind and stick him with my spear.
Correct.
Oh, and so it's +2 from the escalation dice. That's 10, and 5 from my plus as well.
Does
so that's
actually
15.
hit. Does actually hit.
Ah, brilliant. So +5 to this. 12 damage.
12, yeah. The stag leader is also staggered. Your spear makes him just sort of stagger back a little bit, and you see his antlers like tip this way and that. And at that point, from the tree above, there's a little like round of applause from the duck, and all the Broo assembled like look up and notice him, and he suddenly stops applauding and slinks back into the tree and goes back to hiding. But he senses the battle has turned. Let's see, Grilf has it.
Depends on the quality of this dismount as we go round and round and round and round and up, and then we're going to see if we can land on the Stag Lord.
Stag Lord, go for it.
18 to hit.
Yeah.
Oh my word, that's quite good. And that means that I've got a deadly assault here. So for my damage dice, I can re-roll any 1s or 2s that I see in there.
Go for it.
So 1 moment. That's going to be none of those.
Pair of 3s coming up.
Yeah, exactly. You guaranteed it now, haven't you? Thank you for that.
Sorry. Yeah.
So adding 4 to this. Okay. Well, 14, not to be sniffed at, as my sword comes down into his head.
It does get tangled up a little bit in his antlers, but you still get a scar across his face. He looks a little bit worse for wear. There's blood dripping down of him as he sort of makes some strange animal noise at you. He's not looking well at all. It's his go next, though. And he sets his antlers down and charges towards you, Grilf, trying to get you.
Set my shield into the mud.
Well, let's see.
Oh,
that's 27. You're going to take 10 damage.
Now I've got 2 small shields.
Yeah.
You say 10 damage.
Yeah, he picks your shield up and throws it across into the and then charges, goes back and charges at you. You're like, oh, right, okay.
Oh, I'm staggered.
Oh, look. We'll explain healing at the end of this round. Play 13 stage before, but yeah. Right, Herrick's, or rather Jest, first of all.
Yeah, Jest. Like there's an almost Jurassic Park-like shot of clever girl as this Broo's hit the Alex, and then realised all he's done is annoy you even more as it slowly turns around and looks up at him as if noticing for the first time. And then Jest will assault it viciously.
Lovely.
Oh, might get away with this though. That's only a 14.
It's not enough.
Okay, I imagine the Broo's sprinting fast enough to stay out of danger for now. That's what's happening there.
Yeah, suddenly the tide has turned. It's not as brave as it was.
And then I will aim at my bow again at the bovine Broo and say, "How now, brown cow? I've seen better udders on a sow," and then shoots my arrows. Further trying to encourage my Lhankor Marion to recover his verbiage. Oh no, it's a terrible, terrible miss. I was too busy concentrating on my words. And was not good enough.
Did you do miss damage?
I'm just checking. 2 miss damage.
And I think you probably, do you still get your second shot? I'm just
no, it needs to be a natural even hit, I think. Oh, let me check. And if you get a natural even roll, no,
you can still do it. Yeah,
lovely.
That can be a ranging shots.
Another 2.
There's another pair of pine cones falls out of the tree onto his head, now covered in them. But gradually they are wearing him down. Lovely. It is the cow now as he faces down. He's going to charge towards you, Herrick, now. He's had enough of your archery antics. And trying
scrambling to pull out my spear and throw my bow into the air.
We'll see. Yeah, that'd be 21. I imagine will hit you for 6 damage. He slices at you with his knives.
Yes, a scrape along my sides.
And the far side of the clearing, the goat-headed Broo running away from Jest, darts behind a tree and pops out the other side with his spear and tries to have a stab at him.
How dare he?
19?
Is enough.
Yeah, 4 damage.
Well, it's just annoyed him.
Even more.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Right, so back to the top of the round, escalation dice at +3. Dirk, if the first thing you'd like to do is roll me a d20 to see if you get it or if Chaos get it.
This will be the moment, won't it? Here goes. No,
not a great roll.
Counting down from 20.
All these crits. Well. So remember, you've all got +3 to hit. You've got 1 goat-headed Broo currently involved in a bit of a cat fight with Jest, and you've got the cow Broo and the stag Broo both not looking that well, but they seem determined to stay until you can finally drive them off. Josta, you are first up.
So how's this stag-headed leader faring? Is he?
He's not looking well at all. He's on his last cloven legs, last hoofs. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to sing the song of the Silver Wind with a battle chant of all our enemies that have fallen before. We've trodden them under our heel, and do my special battle chant. So with this, it's a charisma plus level versus MD. And if I hit, it's 1d6 plus charisma thunder damage, whatever that is.
It just means it's a different type of damage in case.
Oh, right, okay.
Resistance or
Pretty loud.
Oh, this is
really
exciting.
So
I'm bellowing.
His mental defense is only 10 as well.
Right.
Oh.
You roll d20.
Oh, I need to roll a d20. Okay, it goes.
Yeah,
So get your Christmas bonus and your level. Yeah.
So that's
it's plenty.
You can, it's plenty.
Yeah.
So boom. Yeah. Do you want to roll a d6 and add your charisma bonus, and we'll see if that's.
Yeah, sure. So we're adding. Is it the bold number or the?
It's the bold number. Yeah, it's the
bold number. So it's +6 to this. 10 damage.
Oh, it's almost enough. He goes down on his knees, putting his sort of hoofed hands against it. He drops his club, and but then you see his eyes closed and then open again, and he pulls himself to his feet. He's just about still around. Now, just as a quick, there's something else you can do with that power, because you use battle chant. You can use a battle cry with that. And the one that you might want to use is pull it together. Because you rolled 11 plus on it, you can actually use that and give someone an opportunity to heal with a recovery, which...
Yeah, I will.
I mean, it's up to you whether you want to help.
Yes, I will.
Say Grilf.
Grilf. Yeah, Grilf. There's a verse that I've added about Shalom Arroy, healing qualities and binding of wounds, and how the milk from the silver wind cow can heal wounds. So I'll add that verse to pull everybody together.
Lovely. So Ben, if you want to roll that, as you add that verse, the cow-headed Broo sort of looks round and is like, "What are you doing?" Suddenly got his attention at the mention of cows. So yeah, if you want to roll your recovery, I mean, you can do it after you've done your attack if you want. Ben, out of your turn.
Oh no, I think I'll probably take the recovery
You
roll
might want
first.
to hit points now. I appreciate. Yeah.
You are not wrong. So 2d10 plus 2, 15 hit points. 23, that's better, because I was staggered, but thanks to the blessings of Chalana Arroy, I am now emboldened. So one of my abilities as Wind Lord is Wind Step, which manifests as I can move really quickly, almost supernaturally quickly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dart over to get my discarded shield, dart back so it looks like the shield is kind of just teleported back into place, and then stick it underneath the jaw of the Stag Lord and finish him. Well, this is the ambition anyway. We will actually see whether I can roll more than a 10.
The first bit happens, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see
exactly.
about the second bit. Yeah.
Nothing can stop the first bit. Oh my goodness me. Well, the escalation dice is pretty good at the moment. So
Yeah,
I've got a 17.
That hits, yeah. That hits.
Yay! Good old escalation. Right then, so I suspect he's not got many hooves left on him.
That is enough. That is enough. So do you want to just add a bit of, you said sort of what you're trying to do. What does this look like? How does he finally meet his end?
So I've got my shield in 2 hands, not by the strap, but by the rim, and I'm going to use it like a massive dinner plate to spank him in the snout. His head's going to snap right round, and he's going to keel over backwards with his antlers digging into the earth.
Lovely. Like the traditional use of dinner plates that we have. I like it.
It is
Like
where
you do
I
a
come
dinner plate.
from.
In an Orlantha hole, that's pretty
In an
good.
all-empty home, that's standard dining
Fantastic.
etiquette.
Yeah, and indeed, his head and his antlers go straight into the ground. He's done it. He is done for. The leader is no more. Herrix or Jest, it's you. Can you finish off the cowhead who's now enraged by this song about cows
Well done.
that he's just heard?
He'll have to wait because Chest is going to go first. Getting over 20, so which is going to be plenty to hit the Broo that's left, I imagine. 5 damage.
Just not enough to finish it off. Just staying around.
It's what Alex says. I like to play with the food, so he's just like battering it this way and that, letting it get away, then running after it again.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I've switched to my great spear, so I've like set it like a boar spear as this cow comes charging towards me. I'm actually sure my 3rd 2 in a row for that. So
yeah, a
2
single
missed damage for this.
A single pine cone falls down on his head. Yeah, lovely. Excellent. And the cow Broo goes next. And enraged by this, he's going to try and get you, Herrix, I'm afraid. And miss wildly. You take 2 damage from a hoof.
The pine cone put him off.
One thing he does. And finally, in the ongoing cat fight, this Broo is going to try and get Jest. 16?
Misses with cat-like grace, quite literally, just somersaults out of the way.
Of that. So, while it might seem the battle is nearly over, the cow sergeant and his remaining Broo are still going at you. Escalation dice at +4. Will the tide finally turn this round? Dirk, do you want to roll? You do 20 first of all to see if you keep the escalation dice or not?
You say 17.
It is 17.
Predicting a 17.
Oh,
no.
Yeah, the cow Broo begins to sing his own song of the cows of Malia, his strange god of disease that has a jauntier melody than yours. And the other Broo seems to be emboldened by this as they get the escalation dice this round, not you. Josta, you still get the first go, though?
Okay, so I'm going to use my spear this time to impale the cow-headed Broo. See if we can finish him off. So that's 19, 23.
That is enough. Yeah, you have hit. You do your damage. And he looks up expectantly, expecting a pine cone to fall on him. But in fact, it is the point of a spear that's going to hit him.
Yeah, +5 to this. So that's 14 damage.
That is going to take him down. Do you want to give us a bit of narration as to how that happens, Dirk?
Yeah, so he's coming into song. It's a Ceronius thing because Cow's deep voice. I get him in the throat, and it's just like a gurgle and a gurgle of blood as he falls to the ground.
Oh, he does. If only if the remaining goat-headed Broo, the MVP of this warband, was not distracted by jest, he might realise the game is up, but he's still got some fight in him. Grilf, it's you up next.
Eric's is shouting, "Save my cat! Save my cat!" Looking quite distressed.
What cat? I'm going to trip over it probably. Gets between your feet, that cat. All right, so with wild abandon, I'm going to swing in left and right with my sword like a scythe to try and pull down the final Broo attackers. No escalation dice though.
No.
And I can feel that as well. My spirits sink. But my attack goes to show as well. Oh, I'm Solomon Glum in my defeat.
So do you do miss damage though? Still
2 miss damage.
Well, the good news is that is actually going to be enough to finish him off.
I drown it in my tears.
I'll give you the chance to narrate how that happens, that you miss yet still defeat him. So I'll hand that over to you to work out how that goes.
Oh yeah, well that's fine because I mean a miss is all it means is my sword hasn't connected with him, but he's even more upset by my attack than I was as he staggers backwards, hoping to get an opening on me and savage my belly or something like that. But of course, the phalanx that was between my feet rears up between us and snaps his neck off, and there's a gout of crimson blood hot across my face.
Hot, diseased Broo blood.
Yes.
And you have defeated the Broo warband. And that the applause starts up again. And as you glance around, you see the duck has climbed down from the tree and he's got, "Oh, mighty heroes, my saviors, how can I ever repay you?" And like runs up to try and like embrace you before realizing he may have misjudged the situation as he looks at the three of you.
I look across to Gruff and say, "Oh, Gruff, you know what's really good at getting blood off? Duck feathers."
He backs away a little bit. "Oh, my heroes, oh, you are just the people I've done. I don't know what I'd have done if you hadn't arrived. Since escaping from my own heroes, my own party of heroes, I've run through the forest all the way from Snakepipe Hollow. Oh, I only came to get help, and I never knew that I'd find such mighty heroes as you who might be able to go and rescue them."
You say escaping from your fellows?
"Oh yeah, we were captured. We were on a mighty quest." And he stands, "Oh, but I get ahead of myself. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Crontas, the mighty adventurer."
Well met, Crontas. I am Grilf. These are my companions.
"Oh, excellent. I'm pleased to meet you. Yes, we were questing for a magical item, the beard of Lhankor, a mask that's said to be able to let you speak such honeyed words as men will lay down their arms and speak peacefully in your presence." I mean, I never saw what the point of that was, like now when there's chaos like hunting everyone, but it is a mighty artifact, and apparently Lhankor is quite important. So we were questing for that, and we found it. Not just that, but piles and piles of treasure deep in Snakepipe Hollow. But we were distracted. A passing lunar patrol ambushed us, and before we knew it, both us and the lunars were taken by this vast Broo army. Oh, there's no way anyone could escape but for sly Crontas. And I made my way here to get help from mighty adventurers such as you, for I know you can rescue my fellows.
Right. Justor, do you know of this beard of Lhankor,
I know of it, but I don't believe that any duck can lay claim to it. So do your fellow companions, do they have it in their possession now?
In a manner of speaking, when I left, the tent in which they were kept in the cave was adjacent to the one in which the treasure hoard where the beard was kept. So it's sort of in their possession. Both of those things are in the possession of the Broo tribe, however. That was why I was not able to recover it myself.
And how many of this lunar patrol were there? But your party and the lunars, how many did they come to?
Oh, well, there were but 5 or 6 of us, and maybe 10 of the lunars. Some of them were captured, some ran, like cowardly lunars that they are.
Overwhelmed by a Broo army, you say, of what? These dead and I'll kick one of the corpses with my booted toe, sandal toe. These were what, some kind of vanguard, were they? Are these the best of their soldiers or the worst? Give me intel, military intel.
I am sure that they would have sent the best of their soldiers after me. Knowing how wily and what a great scout I am. But yeah, they are but some of this tribe that lays deep in Snakepipe Hollow. Had I not found such mighty adventurers, I might have said it was a mission of certain death to go and rescue them. But now that I've seen you in battle, I am sure you could rescue my friends.
Well, we cannot let artifacts of Lhankor Maya and heroes of other Lightbringer status languish at the hands of chaos. We have it. We are honor bound by our God, surely, to retrieve our companions.
Oh, that is excellent. So you will go and rescue them. I could draw you a map, and I could.
Oh, but
your tribal lands must be nearby with
no.
With
Crontas,
warm beds and fires and food.
You've already told us that you are the best scout in all land. Only you could get in or out of this camp. You said so yourself. And I've got to take you as a man of your word, a duck of your word. You said only you could get in or out of this camp, so surely you have to guide us.
That is possible, yes. And then the warm beds and the
oh, of course,
and the suckling pig. Yes, that seems reasonable. I will accompany you, and yes, I will guide you.
There was the way, Crontas. Yes,
into Snakepipe Hollow. To certain death. No, as I said, I'm sure we will make a happy band of adventurers, almost as brave as the people I went in with there the first time.
And I'll ruffle his feathers.
He looks mildly patronised.
Good.
So you have agreed to help Crontas and venture into Snakepipe Hollow to recover the beard and the treasure and rescue his friends. In that order or not. How we are going to do this is you are entering into Snakepipe Hollow. It is a chaos land, and at the far end of it lies this Broo army camp that you will have to break these people out of and do a bit of sneaking into. But the journey across Snakepipe Hollow we're going to do as a montage, which is a 13th age technique where we zoom out of the action a little bit. And we go around, we each take the role of GM, really, in turn. And we describe, I'll start by describing an obstacle, the first obstacle that you come to, and then I'll pass to, we'll probably do it in the order that people are on screen. So I'll pass to Gaz, then Dirk, then Ben. Gaz will then describe how the party as a whole overcomes that challenge. You can use powers that you've got, you can use whatever you want, you can describe it. If it's combat, you can describe how that works as well. And then Gaz will describe the next challenge that they face. Dirk, you'll describe how you overcome them. Next challenge, Ben do that. And then Ben, you do a challenge that I describe how you overcome. We don't roll any dice. We don't expend any resources or anything with this. It's our chance to make stuff up. All you need to know, and we're not too bothered about what's canon Glorantha, in case any viewers were wondering if we were and haven't realised yet. We're not too bothered.
What year is it?
Yeah, we're not too bothered about that. So feel free to make up whatever you want that fits with a wilderness ravaged with chaos beasts and strange goings on. And with the scope of it is we'll end just about to crest a hill where you'll see the Broo warband beyond it. So I'll begin. You set off. Crontas is maybe not. He may have oversold his scouting abilities, you notice, as he only really deals in approximate distances. And while he keeps up a good charade to begin with of stopping and sniffing the earth and trying to retrace his steps, you soon notice there's quite a few like unmistakable duck footprints that are easier to track than follow Crontas. So pretty soon afterwards, he's sort of following you. And you come north to the boundary of Snakepipe Hollow. Snakepipe Hollow is a great depression in the ground. And you come to one of the entrances into it. Normally, this would be a staircase sort of carved into the cliff that goes down 50, 60 feet to the misty lands below. But you notice that in his fleeing up, the Broo have have cut away many of the stairs, so it's treacherous, and many of the normally safe route down, much of that is quite impassable to you. And so you're faced with this vast cliff below you, with only the barest of handholds and footholds to get down and climb down that. How do you overcome this obstacle, passing this to Gaz?
Well, fortunately, we have seen that Grilf, our Windlord, has already demonstrated the correct acrobatic techniques, and his innumerable javelins that he's got in his hopper and his ability to fly. So he skirts down on the clouds through, throwing javelin after javelin into the mountainside, thump, 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 and then we can all like hop across them, do backflips off some, like single bars, double bars. So we can ignore the stairs completely and take the Windlord's javelin steps through the misty clouds to the base of Snakepipe Hollow.
Fantastic. You do that, and Grilf, you go down last, pulling out your javelins as you go, deftly putting them into your javelin quiver. There might be a word for that. Who knows?
We're all excited by this ability. As the clouds clear, there's still a dull, like that sort of 2-3 foot forest mist as they get into Snakepipe Hollow itself and dash across with great speed, at least at first. And then there's a sucking, tacky substance on the floor. And it's only then that we realise that dragon snails, 2 headed ones, have been crisscrossing Snakepipe Hollow. And the thick mucus has laid down, and we're all stuck in this gluey-like substance as we see one of these massive dragon snails lazily turning around, seeing us stuck in the mucus, unable to move as it opens its maw and licks its lips at the thought of an easy meal.
Indeed, it must be 20 feet high, this vast dragon snail. Both of its heads turning towards you, salivating, or whatever it is that's dripping from its mouth. Maybe it is saliva, maybe something worse, turns towards you. Dirk, how do you unstuck yourself and escape the dragon snail?
As we're in this predicament, there's something that Dorrister remembers, not from his life, but from one of his ancestors' life, who was on a hero quest and found himself bound by the slime of a dragon snail. And he thinks back of what Dorrister, who walks in the wild, what he did. And what he did, he always carried a pouch full of salt, which he used to break down the slime. So Dorrister has always carried the same. So he's able to cast this at the feet of the rest of the party and release them from the dragon snail slime, so they can run to safety, outrunning this creature away from it.
As it slides up towards you, it begins to give chase, like surprisingly fast. Then it gets to even the tiniest bits of salt that you've scattered, and like shies away from them, unwilling to go beyond that barrier. And you can rush away into the mists, away from the dragon snail. What's the next obstacle that you face then?
As the Lynx leads us as they did in the hero quest through the way. We ignore Crontas now. He is no wayfinder. We're following the Alinx.
You try to,
yeah, but we're moving through, and Harrick proclaims the dragon snails have been here. And we look around us, and there is slime collecting in pools. And Jorta says, "That's no dragon newt slime, dragon snail slime. That's gorp." And we find ourselves in a lake, in a pool of sentient ectoplasm that is ready to consume us.
Ready to consume, and in fact is beginning to consume as you can hear and smell the slight fizz from your sandals as they begin to dissolve. And some of you maybe think that boots may have been a wiser choice for this journey. Ben, how do you escape from the gorp?
Oh goodness, not that old thing again about the gorp. Right, so we're going to need to get off the ground. We need to get into the trees. Climb, damn you, or you'll succumb to the gorp caustic acid. And hand over hand, we have to scale the trees in the scooped out hollow of Snakepipe Hollow, and push our way discarding bits of clothing that are smoking from the gorp that's sort of dripping onto it, until we get up into the treetops itself, where the gorp can be seen glistening below us, and we have to wait till it kind of rolls and moves its way out before we can come back down to pick up our frighteningly clean and bright bits of armor and shield we had to discard.
Yeah, shining. Excellent. And what's the final obstacle that you face?
Well, chaos doesn't just infect the flora and fauna of Snakepipe Hollow. It also infects the microclimate, and a storm blows in. But it's a storm unlike any that you'd be used to in the Great Plains of Drax, because this storm, it is hailing tiny, pea-sized snails, miniature dragon snails, if you will, in bright colours as they come hurtling out of the sky. We're amused for a few seconds, and then it really starts to sting as these things come down harder and harder, and we desperately look for shelter.
And you race this way and that to try and get some shelter from these snails. In fact, as they land, some of them seem to join together to make greater dragon snails, and you flee. Justor's the last of Justor's salt flung behind you, and you climb back up to the heights. You figure you must be on the far side of Snakepipe Hollow here, and just as you manage to get up through a waterfall, which gives you some respite from the snails, leaving them behind you, you haul yourselves up as 4 including Jest onto the top of this promontory. You can see that, you can smell fire, campfires burning. You know you must be near your edge, and you pull yourself up on this ledge. As you get up, you glance up and just see a polished spear tip is held at your faces. And that's where we'll take a short little intermission. So on that note, we'll have a quick break and see you back in a minute. Welcome back. When we left our heroes, they had managed to get their way through Snakepipe Hollow and all the associated slimy horrors that dwelt there. But on climbing through a waterfall to the final thing, they were met with a spear point, a shiny spear point. As your eyes go up the spear, you find, holding it, a Luna, tall, fine-featured, but still looking a little bedraggled. The sheen has gone off his bronze armor, and the red is faded of his dress around. Behind him, there's 4 or 5 other Lunas holding spears at you threateningly. And he says, "Halt, or Lanthy, you'll not ambush us here," as he menacingly points the spear towards your faces.
Of course, yes, that's why we've dragged ourselves through the gorp-infested forest, the dragon snail slimed pathways, mountains we've climbed, Broo we've killed, ducks we've dragged with us, all so we can ambush 4 or 5 new Pelorians who got lost on some kind of tourist expedition. What are you even doing in our lands anyway? And I'll spit at the ground at his feet.
What? We don't expect any logic from you. You just wander around randomly doing that. Not like our civilized society, as he attempts to puff his chest. And you, look, it's the duck that ran away. Look, it's the coward. It's the coward. And they all start pointing at Crontas and shouting, "Coward, coward, get him, get him." And they start moving towards Crontas to do it. And Grilf, Justor, how do you react to this?
I mean, my cat's hissing at them because he's got very protective of the duck now. He's male as far as the cat's concerned. So the Alex is hissing and spitting at the relievers as well.
Yeah, I'll pull myself up out of the hollow and bodily stand between Crontas and the Lunar patrols. If you want this duck, you got to come through me.
He says, "Oh, well, he looks around and he sees that there are actually like 3 or 4 of you, and you all stood up. And he looks around and you can see behind him there's obviously a camp that they've made, and there's a couple of Lunas actually lying down in that camp and not moving to get that, with sort of bandages around them." He says, look, just leave us alone and don't take our stuff, and that's fine. You can keep the duck, but we don't want any trouble. dangerous here. We don't know what you've got in mind for us. We've already met one of your group before. They tried to ambush us. Never again.
Is this true, Crontas? Did you try to ambush these lunars?
I never ambushed them. And the accusation of coward is completely unfair. As they can see, I was going to get help. I was going to get these mighty heroes who, if they lifted their sword arms, could crush the lot of you, couldn't you? Couldn't you for calling me a coward?
Well, we could, not necessarily for that, but we could definitely crush them if we wanted to.
He says, yeah, as I said. Justo, what's your sort of reaction to all of this?
I'm going to claim we're beholden to no duck. We come on our own accord. We have a curiosity about an item that's been lost around these parts, and we'd appreciate any assistance in trying to recover it. Our companion says that he has others amongst his party. Do you know where they've gone?
You see, he sort of backs away, and one of the other warriors behind him puts a sort of hand and says, "Calm, Godus. They too are captured." And he says, "Yes, we did fight the Orlantha here, but then we're both overrun by the Broo. Over the lip of that hill, there's an army of them, 60, 70, mostly goats, but all kinds of things. They've got strange chaos beasts in their employ as well. We were overrun. Took 3 of our best men and took his party. But he ran away, the coward. He's like, that's not exactly what happened. That's not exactly what happened. I went to get help. We've been biding our time to go and rescue them. And it is true that item is in their possession as well. But there's no way in. As I say, there might be 50, 60, 100 at a time. They range all through these valleys. It's a fool's mission to try and rescue our friends, let alone to recover the items that you seek. And he turns and looks at you. You may as well try and wait it out. They may get bored of toying with our captives at one point and move on, or go to raid some Orlantha somewhere, and then we might be able to go in and get people back. That's the best we can hope for.
Oh dear.
It's typical of your people that you you carry defeat upon you. We have the history of stories, and I know just a story that might just help us discover the vulnerability of this Broo army. So I'm going to go into my background and see what vulnerabilities Broo encampments may have.
Fantastic. So I'm going to let you roll. It's probably, I mean, you could use your Lore Master, or unless you've got another background that you want to use here.
No, I'm going to use Lore Master. There must be a story of how.
Cool. I think telling stories for this role, how we'll do it is we'll do it as a charisma bonus, because I'm going to sort of tweak it a little bit and say that what's at stake is whether these Lunars believe. What's important is whether they believe that there are actually weaknesses and are inspired to sort of join you and help you with this raid, rather than waiting. It sounds as if you're committed to the raid, but they might just wait it out and see how it goes first before they help. So I'm going to give it a difficult class of 15. So roll a d20, add your background and your charisma bonus, see if you get 15, and we'll see where that is.
Okay, it goes. So, and that's not going to do it. I've got a charisma of 6, and my background is 3. So I fall short. It's a different story. No, it wasn't Broos that were involved in this one.
It can't have been Tuesday. That's when we do the recycling.
Yeah,
it goes stories. It's always the same with you, isn't it? With your stories and old wives' tales. One day you'll learn civilization isn't built on stories and myth. You need construction, cities, aqueducts. That's what the future's made of. Not this nonsense. Sit around a campfire, tell a story. That's not going to bring these people back.
You might not listen to our words, but you might listen to your own ancestors. And I'm going to start performing a ritual I learned from the Dakafal and presumably at some point one of these Lunas was killed or has died in the captivity of the Broo. So I'm going to summon his spirit here and get the spirit to speak of vengeance and stuff like that. So I'm going to use my Spirit Master background of 3. I'm writing down there.
yeah. Add it
with
on.
my spare points that I've got.
You can actually put up to 5 in one if you want to. I don't know if you want to.
Let's go 5 then.
Sorry, I don't want to push you into it. Yeah, it's going to be difficult. 15 again. Doing a ritual, probably wisdom. I think. Probably.
Yeah, sounds right.
Sounds about right.
And I don't know in what way it might help, but I'll use that because I've got my rune roll with spirit for this session. So I'll say, but that enables me to do it. Something I don't know.
Yeah, that you can not
the particular spirit that is relevant to them, so they'll listen to it rather than just a random Orlantha or something.
Yeah.
So I get 7, add wisdom is 11, 16. So yeah.
Just So appearing before them is the spirit of Redus, a Thunder Delta slinger who was captured and killed by the Broo. And he's like, oh yeah, avenge them, show some fire like these barbarians are. They fight back. Even as we're captured, there's many of them, but they're stupid, easily enraged, only kept in line by the shaman and his strange pumpkin-headed beast. Were it not for them, you might be able to sneak in and take them. But yeah, swear vengeance, promise me Geridus. And he like walks up to the leader and he's like on his knees pulling at him as he sort of dissipates. And the lunar leader Geridus is like white as a sheet and says, indeed, maybe there is a way then if we can trick these Broo somehow and sneak in. We did notice around these parts there's a giant stumbling around, 20 feet tall, throwing rocks around. Occasionally he stumbles into the Broo camp and they have to chase him off. He serves not chaos. That's not where he is. He's just an agent of disruption. And as you see, and they sort of take you up the path to look on the Broo encampment. That there must be 50 or 60, maybe even 100 here, because the encampment goes into some caves at the side of it. He points out the caves. He says they don't go far, but that's where our men and your friends are kept. That's where the mask of which you speak is held. But look, he says, Broo everywhere. They keep watch, and the shaman has them on a tight leash. We will need some great heroics to somehow get them distracted enough to take them out.
Well, I'm sure Grilf, as a wind lord, you could, I don't know, maybe summon the winds to howl in this giant's ears and shepherd it like you would a sheepdog or something.
Yeah, Grilf sort of scratches at his stubble, ponders a little bit and says, "Why? It's possible. Why not? Faith in the gods."
Well, how this is going to work, just to give you some system on it, because you're all going to have to take some action here. This is a hazard, which is a new, harder-edged version of a montage that 13th Age has introduced. All of you are going to have to describe an action that you're doing to try and get into and rescue the people there. After you've done it, there's still going to be a little scene at the end. So you're going to have to, this shaman and his beast that you've heard about, just don't include them in your narration. They're kept in reserve for the end of it. But the three of you in turn are going to describe what you're doing. It's not just a montage, because you do have to expend some resources in order to succeed. So as you describe what your plan is, what you need to do is either use your rune, or you could use a daily power. If you've got something you can only use once a day, you could use that to describe the effect that you have. Or if you want to, so you could also use 2 recoveries. If you want to, that's that's the boring way to do it. If you want to not expend anything, you can try and double or nothing and try and do a background check. If there's a background that you think you could use, it'll be difficulty 20, but on a success, it won't cost you anything. On a failure, everyone's going to take some damage, and we'll narrate how that sort of works in how you've described what you're doing. So it's a rune, a daily power, a background check that's a sort of double or nothing thing, so you're not expending it. Or you could use 2 recoveries if we can't think of anything else that fits for sort of what you're trying to do. And I'm sort of going to leave it up to you we'll see how awkward this is, to do it in whichever order you want. So you might want to plan that first, what you're doing, and then sort of go round and see how successful each bit is. Does that make sense?
It does.
Cool.
Well,
Okay.
I was going to say, for Herrick's, I'm just like dancing around the edges, so I've not got. I can go whenever.
Yeah.
In terms of picking Broos off, is the kind of action I'm taking.
Okay.
So it's up to you whether you want me to do that now or later on.
See if I can follow through on your earlier suggestion of using the power of wind to get us further into the camp than just trying to fight our way through the whole line. There's a giant, is that right?
There is
or
a
rumours
giant.
Of a giant.
Yeah, 20-foot tall, stumbling around. Typical, like, sort of loincloth, sack full of rocks and whatever else he might keep in it. Big tree trunk that he hits people with.
Right. Okay. So let's use my affinity with air and the wind lords themselves to summon something like a swarm of hornets that are blown through the sky towards the giant, driving him beyond distraction and straight into destruction as he kind of sweeps around and tries to bat them off of his face with his own tree trunk, causing a massive disruption amongst the Broo camp, as well as he staggers through their tents and smashes their carts and steps on their commander. And in that maelstrom of destruction, we can make our way deeper into the camp.
Excellent. That works really well. Yeah, he's stumbling around, smashing Broo. They're sort of organising themselves. You can see that maybe this has happened before. The giants sort of come and cause trouble. And so they're like ineffectually throwing javelins at him just to try and annoy him more than the hornets that are bothering him, to try and drive him off. But he's stumbling this way and that. And you're able to quietly sneak into the camp a little bit further. Joster or Herrick's, who wants to go next?
Shall I go next? What I've recovered is a burlap sack filled with dragon snail slime that I kept from the snake pipe hollow, and using my movement rune, I'm creating a line of it so that we've got a clear path. So if the Broos pass, they'll get stuck in it and can't get us, so that Herrick can go ahead to the cave.
Excellent. And as the Broo gets stuck on it, as they try and get through, you're able to slide and skate across it effortlessly as the four of you slide in to make your way to the cave. And finally, Herrick's a chance to get through to it.
Yeah, it's just a matter at the end of like not alerting particular sentries so we can get through. So with the quiet padding pause of my Alex and my own ninja skills, we get quite close, but there's a crossroads we can't get across without something. So I get Jest to start mewling, and he start like play acting across this like cave mouth as if dragging an injured back leg. The Broo can't help themselves but run over to try and get this easy meal. And instead, as they run round the corner, they see all of us arrayed with various weapons, even Crontas with his little short sword and stuff. And the camera pans away as this blood and horns and bits of fur fly. And the last of the sentries taken out to give us easy entrance into the cave system.
Excellent. And you enter the caves. You can rescue there. There's a group of Lunas and a group of Glorantha who've been there captured. And indeed, there is the beard of Lhankor, a mask, a beard that you would wear on your face, that you recognise Josto immediately as the powerful artifact you have heard, and it sits atop a pile of treasure that we'll leave slightly undefined because we might want to use it at the end of at the end of the session. We'll find out what it is if we survive, because you're able to secrete all of this and race back out, still with the giant causing this. You get to the lip of the hill, turn back just as the Broo defeat the final bits of the giant, and turn back certain that you have succeeded in your mission and you've rescued both the adventurers and the treasure, until you glance around and Crontas is nowhere to be seen. And then a tall goat-headed Broo is carried in by his legs as he lets him. He says, "I believe you have something of mine," and drops him on the ground. You thought you could sneak in and steal it back. Well, not all of us are as easily distracted. And he rattles the top of his staff, this Broo shaman, and from under the ground, bursting up, is a bear with a pumpkin face, like a carved pumpkin face, a jack-a-bear, which you know are powerful chaos creatures with strange, weird, unpredictable powers. As he does this, the contingent of Broo trainee shaman step up behind him and also begin to give fight. And you are going to have to roll initiative.
Oh, looks lordy.
So just shout out when you get.
22 for me, please.
Oh, wow.
23 for me.
You were pleased with that until you got
a 9 from me.
Oh,
so
that's all right.
Yeah, put that in your pipes.
Well, they all count, don't they? So escalation dice for this battle is going to start at +1 because you have managed to evade. You've got slight advantage. You have managed to evade the Broo and take it out. That's the good news. It starts at +1. The bad news is you're still fighting chaos, so they might still steal it. So Justo, you're up first. The first thing that I'd like to do, please, is roll a d20 and either get 1 to 5 or get a really high roll. That means that chaos don't. Yeah, as happens. Yeah, chaos don't have the escalation dice. Just to make sure we know what's happening, you've got the Jack-a-bear is a significantly dangerous opponent. It's a big chaos magic swirling around it. It's obvious to all of you this is a magical beast. The shaman that steps forward, again, chaos magic swirling around. The assistant shamans, they seem to rely more on the sort of staffs and daggers that they carry, and they are themselves mooks. So you can target them as one group if you want to. But Justo, you are first up. What are you going to do?
I'm going to ready my spear and lay claim to the beard of Lhankor Mai. It is ours now. And charge towards this goat-headed monster. But as I do so, I'm going to start the Song of Heroes, which I can do as a quick action as well as my attack. Okay, here goes. So I get 15 plus 5. That's 20 plus 1 from the escalation dice, 21.
That hits.
Excellent. Okay, plus 5 to this. So that is 16.
16, okay.
And it means my my song takes effect. So I and my nearby allies get a +1 attack bonus to the start of the next turn.
So yeah, everyone gets an extra +1. That's all of you. As the Song of Heroes is sung and like rings in your ears.
The silver wind shall blow through the valley, that kind of thing.
That's good. I'm glad we got some song in there.
Yeah,
I hope that's not the end of it. Cool. So yeah, and you do connect with this beast, but as it does, it turns its big pumpkin head towards it, and you try not to. As you catch its eye, you see the roiling void of chaos within it, and feel yourself almost ensorcelled just by that one gaze. As if there's maybe some magical effect that it might have at some point. Excellent. Herrix, you're up next.
Well, Jest, yeah, is gonna dive at this ensemble of trainee shaman and attempt to devour them, as is his wont. And he's rolled a 23, 24, 25 in total, which I imagine is enough.
Yeah.
For 9 damage.
Okay, one of them is almost on his last legs. He cares about it. He wasn't expected to be attacked by a cat, but that has happened, and he's not impressed by it.
Yeah, it's swiftly followed by one of my arrows for 20 odd as well. So I'm assuming that's going to hit.
Will hit, yeah.
It's going to be 10 damage. And because it was a natural even, it's followed by yet another arrow.
Cool. Well, that takes one of them out completely.
Good. So I just as if thinking, thank God that Alex didn't kill me, an arrow strikes him in the throat. And then his companion behind him can take 10 damage from a follow-up arrow. Just he's thinking, thank God that arrow didn't hit me.
Thank God I've not been targeted by the arch. So there's only 3 trainee shaman left now. Now, though, is time for old Jack, the Jackabear, to attack. He's engaged with you, Jostor. What he does is he rolls his attack, and depending on what he rolls, determines what happens. So he's got an odd, so he attacks with his big old bear claws. So that's a 19. Does that hit you, Dirk?
It does hit me, yeah.
That's going to be 22 damage.
Whoa.
As he mauls at you. It's like being hit by an army of Broo. Boom. Yeah, by a bear, in fact. By a bear with a pumpkin behind it.
That takes the wind out of my silver wind. Somewhat. I am staggered.
As you look at it and you think, oh, I better avoid that ensnaring gaze that he's got. And then this claw clobbers you to the ground. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you. That's him. And the shaman goes next. He's seen somebody taking out his proteges with arrows. So he's going to attack you, Herix. That will be a... God, I need to see what it is. Sorry. I need to roll this to see what it's against as well. This is against your physical defense. It's a 22.
Yeah, that would affect any of my defenses.
I imagine that hits. You get 10 damage. Oh, it's not too bad, actually. You take 10 damage and you're stuck until your next turn, which just means you can't move to engage anyone or get out of engagement. It's probably sort of okay for you.
I was going to run and help him with that Jackabear, but now I can't move. I know.
Prevent you from charging in and getting mauled by a bear. Yeah. Right. The next to act is going to be these 3 trainee shaman who are not going to take any nonsense from an A-Lynx. So that is... so that's 17, 25, and 15.
2 hits.
2 hits. That's a total of 8 damage then. As they ensorcel your A-Lynx with their wily ways. And finally, Grilf.
So Grilf is going to pull a couple of javelins with one hand out of the hopper on his back, and he's going to fling them as twin javelins head towards the apprentice shaman that have just gone after the A-Lynx. Get off that cat! Let's see.
Armor class 16 is what you need to hit.
I miss. My javelins go wide, dealing only 2 damage in cat disappointment.
That is indeed what happens. Yeah, that's the end of the round. Escalation dice goes at +2. Just as an aside, now, just a reminder of how healing works in 13th Age Glorantha, because it's slightly different from 13th Age. This might be relevant later, who knows. You can, as with normal 13th Age, you can spend your action to spend a recovery and recover that. You can do that once automatically. If you want to do it again, you need to roll a save to see if you can do it again. You can also, you all know healing magic, so you can also use your action to heal an ally. So you just like cast a spell, they spend one of their recoveries and they heal. So that's obviously that's what you do if someone goes down, if you don't want them to die. So yeah, just so we know what's happening with that. Speaking of which, escalation dice at +2. Dirk, do you want to roll me a d20 to see if you get it or if Chaos gets it? You get it. So Josto, you're up first.
So winded and to the side of this, but I'm still my voice is still coming out and singing this song. So you're all going to have still +1 on this. As I continue, and do you know what? I'm going to attack again. I'm a brave soul. I'm just going to hope that one of my companions has some healing restorative effect before I can get hit again. Okay. I'm a brave soul. Here goes.
Let's see. Brave or foolhardy?
Oh, there we go. 7 escalation 9, so that is a total of 16.
It's not enough to hit old Jack. You don't penetrate his pumpkin skin from that. Just do miss damage to him. Just start to carve a bit against him. You're still trying to avoid his gaze a little bit. So yeah, that is going to be a miss, I'm afraid. But your song is still in effect from there. Excellent. Herrick's, or rather Jest.
Yeah, Jest continues his rampage, getting a critical this time.
Well, yeah. Roll and double. Let's see what we get.
For 20 damage.
That takes out 2 of them.
Teeth and claws rend through these. Well, they tried to ensorcel him, and frankly, they were just asking for it. So,
what did we say at the start about animal companions? the only crits we've had so far.
But then myself, what I do is I've got a poultice of healing from Cholana Arai covered in her runes of fertility and other things, which I attach to like a shaft that's got no head on it for an arrow, and I'm going to shoot my companion of Lhankor in the back with it, so the healing poultice will like blossom around him like plants and herbs and other things like shower around him, so he can use a recovery to heal himself.
I can smell lavender, but I can't think of anything to rhyme with lavender. Why did it have to be lavender?
Excellent. It's and you're pleased that this time Herrick's has got the right arrow. That's all good. Do you want to roll your recovery now, Dirk? Just because it's old Jack next.
It might be important.
It might be relevant.
Yeah, 17. Yeah, I'm
cool.
up to 17. Okay.
Okay, let's see if he's using his claws or his gaze now. It's the claws.
Oh, my favourite.
Mine is. It's still big fun.
That's 17. Does that hit you, Dirk?
It does hit me, yeah. It does.
That's 22 damage. As the other side, boom. Just as the lavender is filling your nostrils, isn't it? That thump down against you from there. Lovely.
I'm in negative hit points.
Oh, that's bad. You're not in 13th age. You can't go to negative. You go to 0 and you drop basically. So just as you've been healed, you see Josta goes down, clunk, as he's taken by this.
Yeah, I think the bear paw sends me flying through the air, and I'm now on a tree, bedraggled my arms on either side.
Indeed.
I don't have any effect on it, but I'll shout like, Crontas, you useless duck. Help our companion, what are you doing? Stop standing there open-beaked, staring at everything.
It's a bill, actually, he shouts at
So, slot another arrow, looking at me meaningfully.
Okay, the Chaos Shaman now is again going against you, Herrick's trying to get you, but that may not. Well, I need to roll this as well, sorry. That's 17 against AC. Does that hit your armor class? 17?
So 17 hits any of my defenses.
Right, okay. And that was odd. So 10 damage, and you're stuck again. So
I'm not looking so good now.
Okay, the final remaining Broo is going to try and take on Jest and miss wildly. Grilf, you're up now.
Curse these blasted useless twigs, and I discard all of my javelins to the floor in a huff and pick up instead my bronze sword and lay about the chaos beasts. Let's see. Looks like Jess has got those brews sorted out. I'm going to go after the big jack-o'-lantern.
Right, go for it. Armor class 18.
Yes, that's a massive hit. Thank you very much.
Indeed hits, yes.
Finally, my sword bites. Probably not that deeply, but we'll have a go. Let's see. Oh my god! And it wasn't an even. It wasn't an even. So my furious assault isn't even that furious or deadly, I should say. It's not a natural even hit. So 7 damage. A flesh wound. 7
damage. Yeah. The Jacobea does look a little bit like that, and the previous injury that it had from Josto have done it some damage. Its head starts sort of wobbling this way and that a little bit. It doesn't look that well. That's the round. So the escalation dice is +3. Does anyone have any runes left, or did we use them all?
Mine's gone, I'm afraid.
Oh, yeah.
My wind lord has forsaken me.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? So escalation dice is at +3. Justo, do you want to roll a d20?
Yeah, I should also say that my song has stopped suddenly.
Oh, yeah.
So
Has
you
it?
don't get-
Oh, great.
Funnily enough, yeah. You have the escalation dice. Justo, you're on 0 hit points, so I think you need to roll a save as well to see if you're
Okay, so
living or dead. I mean, it's not just like that, but yeah, it's just a straight d20. Okay, so you have failed a death save. I think you can fail like 3 or 4, maybe. We'll check if it becomes relevant. Just when you healed before, just to be clear, you don't. Oh no, it didn't matter. Well, if you get any healing now, it goes from 0 negative. Like you never go into negative hit points.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
That makes sense. So, it's your go, but you're out of action for now. Herrix and Jest, you're up now.
Yeah, come on, Jest. We need your help. And yes, he gets well over 20 with that roll, so I'll move on to damage. And he does 7 damage to the remaining Broo.
Takes out the remaining Broo. Do you want to just describe how the final moment of that mob has been taken down?
Yeah, he raises his hands to ensorcel Jest, which is the fatal flaw, as just bites him in the armpit and rips out a good chunk of his chest and flesh. And there's arterial spray. You can see his heart beating the last few times in his chest before the furry face goes into the hole after that delicious morsel to chomp on it.
Lovely.
And,
content warning to be added.
yeah.
For that and singing.
And as a palate cleanser, out comes another lavender bowl of fluff and herbs and healing runes, which I'll put on the end of a docked arrow again and shoot my friend in the chest with, so that you can make another recovery.
Excellent. I'm going to take the last 2 dice here. Oh,
Jesus,
that's upsetting.
I'm trying to help you, but you're not making it easy.
I'm on this tree like Saint Sebastian with these arrows coming in and coming round. I've been walking the hero plains, and I'm just can see through my eyes. There's blood caking on my lips, and I'm going to try and get a song together with what little hit points. I can't move in this position though.
Yeah, Helix looks a little bit embarrassed having shot him right in the eye, even though there's no tip on it.
Yeah. So yeah, right. Okay. So up next is El Jack. Just as you come to, this pumpkin head moves towards you, and yeah, that's odd as well. So that is the bear claw again.
Excellent.
It's not quite as straightforward as that though, because there are actually 2 people engaged with it. There's you and no, sorry, it's against the engaged conscious enemy with the fewest hit points, which I imagine Justo is you, as you've just rolled that recovery.
Yes.
Yeah, there's another 22 damage, I'm afraid, to do that. If it's even, like the gaze can attack anyone, so it wouldn't have been you. But yeah, as you go down again.
So as I wake and people hear a crunch as my neck snaps as this thing hits.
The good news is that
limply.
that death save is wiped off now because you've become conscious again.
Excellent.
As Herrick starts like counting those lavender arrows.
I'm looking at my Alex, and like Jest is looking like animals do on one side sometimes with the cock and eyebrow, like, quizzically. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm going to stop trying.
Okay, Chaos Shaman is targeting you again, Herrix.
Yeah, I'm going to need some help soon.
11 and 21, that is. Again, so that's probably going to hit all of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's 10 damage.
I'm barely conscious at this point.
Could be a staggering end to the thing. The good news, the next action is the Broo, but they're all gone, so they don't get a thing. That's the positive you can take from that. And Grilf, you're up next.
Absolutely. Okay. Gonna heft my sword in two hands, spit on it, rub the spit in a little bit. Come on, Orlanth, guide my aim. And he does. It's a deadly assault, and this should absolutely put manners on the big Jackabear. So, oh, pair of sevens, I like that. 18 damage. Yes.
18. The Jackabear doesn't look very well at all. He's sort of staggering this way and that. Suddenly now his big pumpkin head looks a little bit ungainly on his bare side, and his claws are having to go this way and that to try and keep his balance, as if his own gaze is ensorceling himself a little bit.
We have a little bit more, gang, as well. That has triggered the inner wind. So Orlanth has not forsaken me. So that would manifest, I guess, as like a small whirlwind or a typhoon type effect around me. Hair starts to blow as if it's in the center of a hurricane. Eyes start to sparkle blue, crackles of lightning, that kind of stuff.
It does indeed. And I can tell you about that your exploits, that the Jackabear is a powerful enough creature that it would trigger for Dragon Breaker.
Nice.
Crit power, as he's staggering this way and that. Right, start of the round. Escalation dice at +4. Justor from the hero plane. Do you want to roll a d20?
Coming
See
in
if you can ruin your companion's day. No, you still have the escalation dice. It's a +4 for all of you. You're at first. Do you want to roll? Let's roll your death save and see where you're up to.
I'm still conscious, I'm still got I'm still there. Yeah. Well, can I use my background points to become a spirit walker and get my spirit? What's it called when the spirit leaves the body? I've forgotten what it's called.
Like astral projection type thing.
Yeah. I'm going to get out of my body with the aim of getting Lhankor's beard and putting it on Jostar. So that's my plan.
Yeah. Do you want to make a background check to see if that works? If you're using that background.
Yeah. So I've got remaining 5 points. So I'm going to use all of that. So how do I use that then?
Just so you choose. You write a description for what that background would be. So like astral projection or ESP stuff. I don't know. And then you roll. It's probably wisdom. So you'd roll d20, add that 5, and add your wisdom. And we'll say it's a standard 15 that you need.
Okay. So my wisdom is 3, so it's +8. So that's done it. You see, Joristar's disincorporated spirit start to walk towards the treasure to recover the beard.
Excellent. And next round, the beard will be on Joristar's unconscious snap neck from there. Lovely. Jest is up next, or Jest and Herrix?
Yeah, Jest is looking slightly disappointed there aren't any more shaman to eat. But
leading his paws.
The wobbly pumpkin head just likes there's something fundamental inside cats that they can't help wanting to bat that off. So immediately leaps on the back of this Jackabear to try and sort it out. So that's 24.
That hits, yes.
And it's for 9 damage.
Oh, it's even more wobbly now as he bats him this way and that, and the bear claws are like stumbling at him, trying to get him. Jest is now engaged with the Jackabear, though. Just to be clear.
And then I dispense with the lavender balls and pull out a nice broadhead and try and shoot the bear as well.
Oh, that's 18.
Roll 18 on the dice, so that's that. So that's going to be 9 damage.
Lovely, yeah. He's looking even less steady on his feet now.
Yeah, it's a natural even, so I get another shot at him.
Yeah.
18, I get.
That hits you.
For another 11 damage.
And that takes him out. Do you want to just do a bit of narration about how you finally defeat old Jack, the Jackabear?
So it's a combination of everything. Given that the form of Orlanth that the Windlord's taking seems to mesmerize the Jackabear for a minute, raking down its back with its claws. My Alinx snaps out of its reverie But as it swings round this way and that with this thing hanging off the back of it, trying to work out what to do, two carefully aimed shots, thump, thump, in each of its eye holes, take the head clean off.
It doesn't. It rolls. It starts to roll down the hill back to the Broo camp, where they've just dealt with the giant, and they're looking around trying to work out where the shaman is.
No, Jess, come back.
Yeah, straight down. Yeah. Lovely. There's an anguished wail, as if made by a goat, though, as the shaman notices what you've done and turns his attention to you, Herrix.
Yeah.
Once more. Oh dear, that's 26. That's 10 damage.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Oh no!
And he turns around to you, Grill, and looks as if this is a Mano Abreu battle. It's your turn though now.
Okay, I lock eyes. Mine pale, blue, lustrous. A little storm rolling around in the background. His slitted, devilish. And I level my bronze sword at it, and an arc of crackling lightning is going to come down and power my blow.
Let's see.
Brew Breaker. He's probably not considered a big enough foe, though, is he?
I will let you because he's got more hit points than you. How many hit points have you got?
Actually, I'm doing well for hit points. I mean, I have all 40.
Oh no, he's not. Yeah,
No, I don't think so.
You know. He's not.
And not only that, I've managed to roll 17 to hit.
Which hits?
Well,
Which does hit,
hey. All right. Well, maybe it's not the full lightning, but it's still got my muscles behind it. So that's going to be 10 damage.
10 damage is not insignificant. Or
enough.
Or enough. It's significant, but not sufficient.
It's within the margin of error.
Yeah, as it does. So back to the top of the round, the escalation dice is at +5.
Wow.
We've ended up with a sort of one-on-one battle here, a little bit.
We have a little bit,
Oh,
melee.
However, start of the round, Jostor, your unconscious frame has a beard of Lhankor attached to it now. What was your intent on doing this, and what are you trying to do now?
Well, restoring Jostar to his full strength with the spirit of Lhankor running through him as an acolyte. He is the true holder of this this beard. Not able to grow a beard himself, he's finally got one.
Yeah, in fact, and as Jostar takes that breath, you feel that there's a little scratch on your cheek as you feel some stubble burst through. And you're restored. I'm not going to quite. I think you're probably on half hit points rather than.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
But I like the idea. I like the thing from that. Yeah. But yeah, do you want to? What do you do now, Justin? You look around and see that Grilf is going 1-on-1 with the one remaining opponent, this Broo stag. Well, actually, Jess is still up, isn't she?
Yeah.
But Herrix is down, covered in like chaos magic as well. So, Justin, what's your action now?
Well, I'm going to sing the song of spilt blood. Is that the one I want? Yeah, I'll have the one spilt blood. So, no, I won't. I'm going to go stay strong. I'm going to stay strong and give my companions +2 to their armor class next time.
So to do that, it's a battle cry. So you need to make an attack and get 60 or higher, and then you can trigger that. So yeah, you need to try, and you can decide which one you do after. So you can actually use a pull it together there.
Yeah,
you don't have to decide which one you do until after you've rolled, and that might hit as well. I don't know what's your total there against the shaman.
Well, with the escalation die, he's rolled at least 20.
Yeah,
plus
whatever
5.
your bonuses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do your worst then.
So it's 23. So so it's 2d8 +5 to this.
Okay, the shaman is staggered as you wade in against him. He does not look well, as he's cursing this way and that. And yeah, the 15 isn't enough for stay strong, but it is enough for pull it together if somebody wants to heal with a recovery.
Yes, that's the one I was looking for. Pull it together was the one I was looking for. I can't help it. I've been walking the Hero playing. I can't remember the song, and the lyrics were failing me. And then finally,
Yeah. In fairness
back.
to Justo, you've died 3 times this combat. Can't help being a little bit fuzzy. Excellent. Right, Herix, as you come to it from the shouts of Justo, you were yourself wandering the Hero plane in his footprints, maybe.
Wondering what he's doing. Is he going wandering off, picking
He's
up?
come
maps
back.
and
He's gone.
stuff?
He's come back. You, all right. You felt it, but Jest is the first to react. Actually,
Yeah. Well, but before he does anything, I'm just adding my
yeah.
my hit points back, so I know I'm alive. Okay. Well, Jest has rampaged through all of the Chaos Band so far.
Yeah.
There's no reason why she shouldn't leap upon. Keep changing agenda, but she's fluid that way. She tries to leap across like Sherman, but he's too wily, or the Chaos winds are too strong. But as I've managed to regain my footing, I will pick up my great spear and rush to help my companions and try and lunge that into his furry chest. 16?
It's 1 short.
Yeah.
That's
Still a bit groggy from being killed, so I'm still staggering about a little bit as I'm trying to work out which direction I'm running in.
If you'd heard the Song of Heroes, you'd have been okay. So 2 miss damage, isn't it? I think from that.
Yeah, 2 miss damage.
It's still as if you're on the Hero plane. It's not quite right from that. And the Shaman now goes, says, "You, I've killed you once already," and turns towards you. Yes, that's going to be 10 damage, I guess.
10 damage. Okay.
On Herix, not
All right. Okay.
So, yeah.
In the words of Pearl Jam, I'm still alive.
What? No, come on. Why won't you die? Why won't you die? Grilf, you're up next.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Broo. Hopefully plunging my sword through his neck to give me the dice back up to the narration. Oh, do you know that still might be it? That might be it. Escalation's a +5, right?
Yeah.
16. It's 1 short, isn't it?
Yes. It's not going any better.
Look, it's on my side. It dances around.
Growth.
Yeah.
2 damage. Pine cones.
Yeah. Even more frustratingly, that's the end of the round. The escalation dice is now at +6. So you would have hit if you just waited a little bit longer. No.
That was the plan all along. I was parrying.
Shall I roll the dice? See who gets
Yeah,
it?
please do. 1 to 5 is what I want.
Oh,
no.
Yeah, inspired by
Working
his
for the
survival. He's at +6. Justo, you're up now. No escalation dice for you boys.
Okay, so I'm still wandering around like a faulty jukebox trying to find my the songs that are relevant. I'm just going to run at him with my spear, so I'll get +5 to this. Oh yes,
that hits. Yeah.
Plunge it through, and I can sing some songs as well whilst I'm doing this.
Well, before you hit your song, that is going to take him out. So do you want to describe how you finally defeat Ezrosh, the Broo Shaman?
I think empowered by this beard, I hurl myself through the air and impale him into the chest. And I've got this song ready, and the only word I can manage is Silver Wind as he drops to the ground, pinned to the ground. And we all take turns heaving it backwards and forwards, making sure that's a significant hole in his chest.
And there's a cheer erupts from the watching Lunas, Glorantha, and Duck as they notice you've been victorious. And a round of applause and stuff. And they look around and they realise they're making quite a lot of noise. And the Broo have just seen the severed head of their Jacobbear ride into their camp. And so you have to race back across Snakepipe Hollow, evading the dragon snails and the Gorp and all the various other slimy things that you had, climbing back up the javelins on the cliffs to get back to the safety of the Silverwind lands, having successfully retrieved the beard of Lhankor as victors, as the mighty heroes you are born to be. Just to put a little bow on that, you're back in the Silverwind lands, you're celebrating, you found all this as yet undefined treasure, and the beard of Lhankor that lets your voices carry and bring peace to everyone. Let's just go around and have a little scene from each of you as heroes as how what your next steps look as you have gone to the next stage. Now you found this mighty treasure, and the Silverwinds clans Stark and rise again. Let's maybe, Dirk, do you last, because you've obviously got the beard, which was the thing from it. But if we do Gaz, then Ben, then Dirk, if that works. Gaz, what do we see of Herrix and Jinx celebrating or making the most of it?
Well, it's sometime after the celebrations. I'll do my little vision out where there's a Horn of Plenty that's provided a cornucopia for the Silverwinds, but now it's locked away in a cage, and Jinx is just like got one arm through with a paw trying to get it. Like, no, put it back, and she gets up and suddenly walks around. You see her belly dragging on the floor. It's just been allowed to eat too much and got fat. As the camera pans up, you see that Herrix is in a similar condition, with his breastplate kind of lifting up a bit and his little belly sticking out the bottom. Now, time to go adventuring again. Need to work off some of this. The force away from the Horn of Plenty.
Lovely. I love it. Yes, it's great. Ben.
Grilf is at his home, back with the tribe. He's with his family, and he's showing off a little bit and recounting the tales to his two very young children. He's showing them his muscles and his guns. They're hanging off of his arms as he spins round and round. And he's only interrupted from his celebrations by his wife stepping out of the forge, where she has hammered his shield true again, following his battle in the forest. This time, use it properly, she says, and throws it at his feet in disgust.
Lovely. I love it. And finally, Dirk, what do we see of Justor?
So Justor has got the beard, and it is not a movable thing. It's clamped to his skull permanently. It's like a permanent feature. And so the clan promote him onto the Whiter, and he is now an emissary that goes from clan to clan and forging new relationships so that the clan can get stronger. And we've got a suffit of cows. There always has to be cows.
Always has to be cows. That's where the cows come from. Great. Thank you, guys. So this ends our one shot of 13th Age Glorantha. I hope you've enjoyed it back home. We didn't say at the start to like and subscribe, because I'm sure all of you viewing this already did.
It's already done.
When you saw how good it was. But if you haven't, on the off chance, just double check and like and subscribe, so we can bring more content. There might be more Glorantha to come. There might well be more 13th Age to come. So keep watching and see what else we've got up on there. And thank you for viewing and listening, guys.